Hello and welcome to Shrouded Realities Podcast. Today we've got a serious subject, series of events that happened in 1992 that nobody ever talks about.
It's kind of weird.
Nobody talks about it?
It's really weird that nobody talks about it, because that was like a kind of a big deal.
I think it was really popular in the 90s, but then it just kind of...
Did it get overshadowed? Did it get overshadowed by all of the other bad things that happened during that time period?
Yeah.
That happened like a couple of months apart that we're also going to talk about.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, a couple of months apart.
A little bit after the 1990s?
Yeah.
Like maybe a year or two after?
We're talking about different things, but yeah.
Oh, you was talking about 20 years later, wasn't you?
Nope. We're talking about... We're somewhere... I was saying Waco, which was a couple of months after.
Were you thinking about 9/11?
Yeah, he was on 9/11 and COVID. So for some reason, he was somewhere way off.
I was going
Hey, also bad.
Also bad.
All of those are still bad.
Yeah. And this one's bad.
Yes.
This one seems like more modern era. Because when we first started researching it, I was thinking that this was like in the 70s. This was 92.
Yeah, that's the year I was born.
Okay.
I was born in 92. So
I was 10 years old.
Okay.
So, yeah. So
well, let's let the viewers in on what we're talking about, because we're talking around it right now.
We haven't even mentioned what we're talking about.
It's in the title.
It's in the title.
Everybody's already
What
looked.
if they can't read?
And they're just, I guess they just can't read.
Don't be like that.
Okay.
That's our fans. Don't do that.
Don't do it.
Ruby Ridge. We're talking about Ruby Ridge. The events that happened in Idaho.
August 21st, 1992. But it was kind of before that. This is when the bad things started to happen.
Yeah, this was the siege.
Yeah, they call it a standoff. This is not a definition of a standoff.
No, there was a lot of missed opportunities for this to not happen.
Yeah,
and it happened. Bad.
And like every bad thing that could go wrong did go wrong.
Yeah, this was a series and a very, very, very unfortunate scene of events. This whole situation, the whole thing, from the very, very start to the very end, very bad series of events. Like there was so many things that could have happened along the way of these series of events that could have stopped the whole thing. It never would have happened.
It's almost like when you get the government involved in things, it just doesn't tend to go right.
Yeah.
Maybe the government should stay out of, personal business most of the time.
Yeah.
And shouldn't try to set people up for things and, just a little foreshadowing there of this conversation, but I think the government kind of sucks.
I think ego had a lot to do with it, too.
I do too.
A lot of dingling measuring was going on during these events.
Nobody measured up.
Nobody measured. Mine's bigger than yours. No, mine's bigger than yours. And then...
Mine's bigger than yours.
A lady and a 14-year-old boy's dead.
Yeah, it's... Wow.
And people got retirement out
of it. That's how we end up there.
That's how we got there.
But let's start this off. This all started with the Weaver family.
The Weaver family. You want me to tell the
backstory?
Give us the
I'll
lowdown.
try not to be boring. Y'all jump in with jokes.
Hit the high points.
High points.
Yeah, tell jokes in the middle of death.
While we're talking about a 14-year-old boy getting massacred by its government.
I don't see jokes coming, but yeah.
We'll get there.
I'll be there.
So the Weaver family, Randy Weaver, Vicky Weaver, husband, also father, and his wife and mother.
Okay.
They
it's Uncle Grandpa.
Yep. Had 3 kids. Yep, 3 kids. They lived in Ohio. No, Iowa first. They wanted to homeschool their kids, and Iowa wouldn't let them.
Of all places?
Which surprises me a lot. I kind of figured Iowa would be the place for that. Yeah. Now, in the 90s, it probably was more of a stigma than it is today, but I'm surprised that Iowa was a no-go on that.
Yeah, it was weird. But they decided to move away, get out of Iowa. They saved money for a year, paid off all their debt, sold their house, and then moved to Idaho to live in the woods, cabin style.
Pretty desolate.
Super desolate. Yeah. They just wanted to get away, raise their kids.
Yeah, it was on purpose that they did that.
To get away. So to get to Idaho, they build a cabin, start a little homestead. They've got horses, animals. They're growing their own food.
They were kind of like the picture perfect homestead family.
Yes.
They had it going.
Geese, multiple horses.
Geese. If geese are gooses, if multiple gooses are geese, then they had.
Yeah, moose should be meese and horse should be heese.
They've got mooses. They've got mooses.
Hoosai.
The moose actually plays into this conversation a little bit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Wildlife.
Yeah. So they're living in the woods. They get involved. They're very religious, but they're more apocalyptic Old Testament type religious.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Things about visions and like into the world, government's collapsing,
like Book of Daniel type stuff, where it's kind of given into the world type scapes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the government's
like persecution, stuff like that.
Yeah, so they're already anti-government before this whole thing even started. So,
and it's really the wife that had those premonitions. The husband was just kind of like supporting. Yeah, like he didn't like from what I've heard and seen, he wasn't at the same level she was. Where like she was saying she was seeing visions and stuff like that.
Okay,
so
yeah, she was. Yeah, I listened to a podcast with Sarah, the oldest daughter that survived. She said that their parents were very, very religious, particularly her mom.
Mm-hmm.
But oddly enough, she said she never heard Jesus.
Mm.
It's like Jesus wasn't talked about.
Maybe she was so overcome with fear she didn't even think about it. I don't know.
Well, and if you're more Old Testament, that makes complete sense. Yeah. Jesus wasn't there in the physical form at that point.
Yeah,
he was talked of, but he wasn't.
Gotcha. Yeah. Makes sense.
So they were basing their religion off of Old Testament apocalyptic type stuff. But I'm trying to get, let's see. So that was kind of the groundwork. That's why they're there. Apparently it was a real super rural area, like everybody lived miles from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So to get involved, the only it's kind of weird. So if you know anything about this at all, you've heard that they were white supremacists. Like that was
like it was like a label that just threw on top of it.
And that label went out like that. As soon as it hit the media, it was a white supremacist standoff in the mountains. Like
I would also like to.
That's what the narrative of the time was.
I would like to bring up that those words have been thrown around a lot in today's world.
Yeah.
And I think that I'm saying foreshadow a little bit of what I'm going to discuss with that word of how it was thrown around there and how I believe it's thrown around here today. So anyway.
Yeah, we'll cover that after we talk about what all went down. They attended community events, they couldn't really find a good church to be a part of, so they went to different ones. But they got involved with an FBI informant, a snitch, they called him, that was infiltrating the communities that they were in to try to, I guess, break up the Nazi group that they were, or the white supremacist
quotation group. Nazi group.
Yeah. So I think there really was Nazi groups up there, but
I'm sure that.
But the Weavers did publicly denounce that. They didn't. Once they found out that was the deal, they pulled away from it. So.
Because I think they were just looking for a community. Yeah. And it was like, that was the only communities.
Yeah. Exactly.
Close. Yeah. So it's like, do you shoot your foot and just be by yourself and like maybe die?
Yeah. From what I understood, the only community events were white supremacist recruitment type events. And that was just the event. So that's, if that's the community that's around.
They showed up and went, oh, that's not what we're going for, but what's here?
Yeah. They made friends with people and,
and let's also say, we are not supporting of white supremacist groups.
No, and we're not defending it at all.
And we're not trying to defend that at all. All we are saying is that's what they have been defamed with, I will say.
Right.
It's like they didn't move there to join this group. They lived there and was like, oh, this is it.
The group was already around.
The group existed.
Yeah. So, and if they were, we don't like it, we denounce it.
Yes, absolutely.
All that.
Totally.
But, so the informants, the FBI informants, the snitches that were in there, trying to drum up charges on people. One of them befriended Randy Weaver, the father, and solicited him to saw off some shotguns for him, which is against the law, but it's also against the law for a federal agent to solicit.
Yes.
It's called entrapment.
Yes, it is.
So can't do that. So two laws were broken right off the bat. Randy Weaver sawed off shotguns. Yes, it's illegal. He admitted to it. It's also illegal for the federal government to say, do this illegal thing for me. Boom, now you're arrested.
Wasn't it sawed off to the exact illegal length? It was like
length? 21 inches or something.
It's like the exact illegal length where, if you Yeah.
Let's tap into how dumb short barreled rifle rules are.
Those are so dumb.
What, does it make it more deadly?
No, it actually makes it worse because it's less accurate.
Like you can't shoot.
Oh, you could hide it better.
Yeah,
you're gonna kill somebody. Why you're not gonna hide it anyway?
So you know what the criminals do? They keep it full length until they break the law. Then they cut it off and go break the law.
Yeah,
and then you say you rob a bank with it, then you're arrested for robbing a bank. The sawed-off shotgun is nothing for robbing a bank.
Yeah,
so what's the point?
But you can saw it off to a certain length still, and it's fine.
Yeah,
but you can't do it
like quarter of an inch above the legal limit.
Yeah,
yeah, you can go that far, and it's fine. And
you're like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
Yep.
Don't you move that.
I don't have anymore. I used to have a youth shotgun that was at that legal limit, and it's shorter than a regular shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, what's the, like you said,
well, if you had cut it, if you had got a sawzall,
if I cut a quarter inch off of it,
you could have went to jail.
But also, I think that was just it was an easy crime to drum up to try to get Randy to snitch.
Yeah,
on people inside the church.
Just as context, was this their way in to get him? Is that kind of
they're using him as the door,
as the doorway into the group?
They want him to fold to give information on people
because they did solicit him after that. Hey, we'll drop these charges if you do such and such. Him being an anti-government person already told him to kiss bricks.
And Randy Weaver is a decorated veteran as well.
That's right. Yeah,
wasn't he a Green Beret?
Yes.
No.
He
was not. He was not. The Bo Greitz was. We'll get to him in a minute.
Okay.
But Randy was not.
He was some kind of special.
He was in the military army.
Yeah.
But
and
I
he
don't
went.
know what it was.
It was during Vietnam era. I don't think he ever went to Vietnam, but he was in Vietnam era. It was right after that. So he was a war veteran. He did. So they drummed up the charges. They caught him by having one of his friends who was also an FBI informant pretend to break down on the side of the road. And when the Weavers stopped to help him, they snatched them all up and like pinned the mom's face in the snow.
Gosh.
Took it way too far.
Yeah.
So they did arrest him, took him to jail. He goes to jail. He bonds out. The way he bonded out was he signed over his property for bond. On the way out, it was either a lawyer or a clerk. Some clerk told him, or incorrectly told him, that if he was found guilty for those charges, that he would lose his whole property, everything. Like they'd kick the wife and kids out, boom, it's all gone. So that kind of ramped up his, I ain't going to jail.
Mm-hmm.
And so he goes back home. They give him an incorrect court date for him to go back. So he didn't go back because he didn't go to they gave him the wrong date to begin with. And then that's what kicked everything off. For some reason, don't know. This is the part I don't understand. Maybe y'all can help me with this. That not showing up to court turned into like full-blown surveillance.
I've been wondering what the deal is with that, because if you just don't show up to court, you get a warrant.
Mm-hmm.
I understand
Go knock on his door, say, come on out.
And I know that laws were changed after this incident happened, but I mean, you would have to have some. Why in the world would you start the surveillance from not showing up to court?
Yeah.
I think it's because the FBI had their fat fingers in it and they were trying to expedite stuff. Probably.
Is this where
they probably wanted results? They probably wanted results from their operation at these.
Is that the measuring stick there?
Yeah.
You think is like
maybe.
Yeah,
maybe
he didn't show up.
Let's go get him.
Yeah.
It's funny. It's like the FBI like wasting resources on these churches in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't FBI at first. It was the ATF and U.S. Marshals.
They probably they were really bored.
Hey, I've got problems.
It's like, we're not getting anywhere with this.
I've got problems totally around the ATF as just existing.
Yeah.
I don't like it at all. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Stay out
just
of
make
it.
laws.
Just make laws. You don't exist. Why do we need a separate entity to do that?
Weird.
Anyway,
yeah,
my rant. Sorry.
So, anyway, so they start surveilling him. They put cameras up around them, pointing at their property. They're watching him pretty much 24/7. And this is where it really escalates. On August 21st, two agents went in, Art Roderick and William Deegan. sneaking through the woods,
dressed up
in full camo with silenced submachine guns. I find that ironic.
That is ironic.
Put that in the hand of an American civilian, see what happens.
That's illegal.
So anyway, so they're crawling through the woods. Their dog, what was his name? Striker. Striker the dog.
That's a sick name.
That is a cool name for a dog. He alerts. He does his job. He goes barking, tearing out to the woods. A family friend that was living with him, Kevin Harris and Sam Weaver, the son, they go after the dog, thinking at this time they don't know they're being surveilled.
Sure.
Thinking that it was a bear or a moose. A moose in the woods. A moose, yes.
A moose.
A moose in the woods, eh? So they go, they grab their guns just in case it's a bear. Head off in the woods after him. The dad, he said, I just didn't want to tear out through the woods. The boys had it. So he kind of went with them, but didn't go off into the woods. He just kind of walked up the road a little ways. Anyway, the two guys, the son, Sam Weaver, let me set the picture for this. He's a 14-year-old boy, but they said he was a very small 14-year-old boy. They say he looked more like 9 or 10. Mm. So he's a little boy. And then Kevin Harris, I could never find his age, but I think he was maybe in his 20s. He's definitely a full grown adult man. So they go in after the dog. They're a little bit behind the dog, and the Art Roderick, the U.S. Marshal, shoots and kills the dog. The boy and Kevin, they see that this happened. They freak out. Hey, you shot my dog, you SOB. Mm-hmm. Gunfire breaks out. Don't know who shot first, other than the dog being shot. Don't know who shot first, but the other federal agent, William Deegan, was shot and killed, and the boy got his arm blew off first, hit him at the elbow, and then he turns to run. This is a big part. Turns to run, screams out, "Dad, I'm coming back." He was letting his dad know what was going on. He gets shot in the back and killed.
Shot in the back is significant.
Big time.
Shot in the back is like the number one no-no.
A little boy gets shot in the back by a U.S. Marshal.
If you shoot anyone in the back, I'm pretty sure that's automatic, like, guilt.
Yep. So they leave Sam gets left in the woods where he was shot. Kevin comes running back to the house. He's freaking out, crying. Of course, Dad freaks out, crying. They figure that they're under attack. They head off into they get back into the house. During this time, the agent that survived, he runs back to a neighbor's house, calls for backup, and he puts out the narrative that we're pinned down. That was his words. We're pinned down. Mm-hmm. And they're, they pretty much blows it out of proportion. They say, officer down, we're pinned down. So then that's when the FBI gets involved, and they bring everything. They bring tons of people. One of the counts I heard was like 400 soldiers and federal agents for that. 400? 400. It was a ton of people. Yeah. They surround
how many people inside of this house?
For a family.
A family and a dude?
Yeah. Family and some dude.
And he's dead, right?
Nope. Which dude?
Kevin?
Kevin, no, he survived.
He's the one that shot, probably.
Survived. Shot who?
Deegan or whatever.
That's all right. So I was going to save this for later. I'll listen. That's fine. I'll hit it there because it's part of the story. I listened to a podcast with Sarah Weaver that was put out, I think it was like last year, very, very recent. So she's had time to survive. She's very close to the story, obviously, process everything. Everything's changed. She's forgiven everybody. She's a Christian herself. She said that nobody knows who killed the agent. They said it's never been publicly, officially released who killed the agent, which makes her think that it was possibly friendly fire. So it may not even have been one of the two that killed the federal agent. But they left with a gun,
right, because they thought it was a bear or a moose
or
something
were
like
armed.
that.
They were armed, and they did shoot.
So as far as you're not going to say friendly fire killed this man, you're going to go, well, it was a firefight. And nobody can.
They knew
what
kind of. They knew what parties, what kind of weapons they had, so they would know based off of ballistics, what bullet did what.
Yeah. Then that's why she thinks like this was very well investigated. That the reason that they won't say who pulled the trigger is because it was probably friendly fire.
So then at that point, this is all based on a lie of we're pinned down.
Yep, that's why it escalated.
And that's where
so quick.
everything escalates to a whole different level.
Yep. So they bring in snipers. They bring in the HRT, which is the hostage rescue team from the FBI.
There it is.
Make a little note on that. We'll mention the HRT later because it's also got ties to something that you'd be surprised about. So the family goes back into the house. Things escalate. They bring in armored personnel carriers.
With those wooden cabin.
To a wooden cabin.
Do these people have Predator missiles inside of their house? I mean, what are they doing?
They had helicopters in the side of the mountain.
They literally had hunting rifles.
Were these guys Bond villains? Like, what's going on?
Yeah. So they go back to their house. Later that night, the dad decides to go get his son, go get the body. They know he's dead. They're hoping that it's not true, but it was. They go back in the night to get the body. They bring the body back, put him in a little shed that they had separate from the main building, wrap him in a sheet, and they just left him in the shed until everything, just to.
I mean,
don't know
what else are you gonna do?
Right? Yeah. So, I don't know how many days it was. It may have been the next day. But the snipers are set up. The FBI changed the rules of engagement for this event. Don't know why, but they did. They changed it from shoot to kill. If somebody's got a weapon, shoot to kill no matter what, which is extremely odd and extremely unconstitutional, which it was ruled unconstitutional later.
Why would you do that to a family who only failed to appear in court to begin with?
Yep. For a sawed-off shotgun charge.
Killed their dog,
mm-hmm.
and then possibly blamed the wrong person for killing an agent.
Yep. And at the time, they said they said at the time that they didn't know that the boy was dead. That was the narrative that they put out. They didn't know anybody was dead but the federal agent.
So possibly some miscommunication just all the way around.
Communication
from jump
riddled.
Here.
Yep.
Of just this guy's dead, who's one of ours. If you're the FBI and the ATF,
and I'm gonna steel man it. I can kind of get that if I'm in a group.
Emotions are high.
Emotions are going to get high. Yeah. One of mine gets shot. I'm coming in hot too.
Exactly.
Yeah. But either way, it was still a 14-year-old boy that was shot and killed.
But if they didn't know that, and I'm not the guy to back up the government here at all. I'm not your boy on that. But
we want to be impartial.
I can understand if the guy that just watched whoever die, his buddy, he's going to tell his side of what he knows.
He was just shot at. So
he was just shot at. That adrenaline's pumping.
Yeah.
He goes and says, we're pinned down because he probably feels that way in that moment to an extent. I mean, then here you are.
So that, during the standoff, while they've got everybody in the cabin, the FBI goes in and investigate that scene where the agent was shot, and during that they find that there was very few shell casings. So the number I heard was like 6.
Wow,
there wasn't that many. So it wasn't really a pinned down firefight. It was just some gunshots,
some pot shots.
Yeah, some gunshots. So, don't know exactly when in this 10 days that this happened, but Randy Weaver goes out to check on his son's body, just to make sure everything's, critters didn't get in there or whatever, or maybe even went into the grave, who knows. So he goes walking out. He's got his rifle with him. Still doesn't know he's being surveilled. He reaches up to open the latch on the door. It was kind of like over his head, he said. He reaches up to open the latch over on the door, and he got shot. A sniper popped him. The sniper's name was Lon Horiuchi. That's it.
Horiuchi.
Lon Horiuchi. Takes a shot, hits him in the shoulder, but it's kind of like low in the shoulder and comes out of his armpit. So it was kind of a flesh wound. Didn't really hit any bones or organs or anything.
Right in between. Yeah.
Yeah. He said it took him down. He goes down. The daughter, Sarah Weaver, 16 at the time, she goes running out. She said she went into full protection mode. She runs out there, puts herself in between where she thinks the shot came from and her dad. She said that if they're going to have to kill a girl, if they're going to kill him. So she was protecting her dad. Mom comes out. Mom's holding a 10-month-old baby. She comes out. They all go running back into the house. As they're running back into the house, the same sniper takes another shot. This time it hits the mom in the head. Instant fatal shot. Bullet passes through her head and hits Kevin Harris. Hits him pretty bad, they said. They said his wound was real bad. So they think they're like, they're not leaving, obviously, because if they walk out of the house, they think they're all dead. So they all stay in there, grieving the mom. Of course, the dad's injured. Kevin's injured. And then there was some negotiations. They send a robot. This is one of the really weird things. They send a robot.
In 92?
92. It was a remote control tank, like tank tracks, kind of small.
Tonka.
A little bit bigger. It said it had a phone on it. They wanted to deliver the phone for him to talk to. The irony of this is they put a shotgun on the thing and pointed the shotgun at the...
Sawed off.
I don't know if it's sawed off.
Just legal.
Yeah.
Just legal enough to be...
It had to have been a short one because it was on the robot and it was pointed at the phone.
Like, is this a Saw?
Yeah.
What is this, Saw?
Saw movie.
I want to play a game.
Yeah.
You grab the phone and you want to play a game.
Answer the phone. But, so...
This sounds like a horror movie, let's just say. I mean...
Yeah.
And just the
done one thing wrong.
The idiocy of it, like... Do you really think he's going to take your bait and answer the phone?
What I would love to find out is at what point did people go, what are we doing here?
Yeah. Okay, so that did happen. They called in another group, an FBI group. I wish I wrote down who they were. But this FBI group comes in and they sniff out the BS quick.
Sure.
And they said, we don't want any part of this, and they left. They got there, got the story, realized what was going on, and said,
and the community was started when they started finding out things.
Yep, they started protesting. And
that other group, whatever they are, we probably should look that up.
Yep.
But whatever they are just as responsible at that point if they were in the know and didn't do anything about that to stop it.
Well, they did. They said, like, y'all are screwing this up.
Yeah.
Y'all need to stop. And it was just too late. The higher powers overruled.
You're too far in at that point.
The higher powers overruled.
That's a bad argument to me. We're too into the bad thing. We got to stay in the bad thing until it's over.
We can't say we're wrong.
We can't say we're wrong.
I'll do my job.
That's,
yeah,
man, this is just opening up examples.
Yeah. Right. So I want to go back just a little bit, like to the initial shootout. Like
with the dog and the boy.
Yeah, like you don't know you're being surveilled, and then two green guys pop out.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your first thought isn't these are government agents.
No.
Like these are just people here to kill you.
Just bad guys. Yeah,
they've already killed your dog,
carrying a silent submachine gun.
Yeah.
I'd do the same thing.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Somebody like that facing off with
you're on my property and you've killed my dog,
uh-huh.
and you're carrying a weapon, I'm gonna shoot immediately.
Easy.
And they said that they yelled out U.S. Marshals, but like after shooting someone's dog, like that doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
it's just like words. Yeah, how do I trust you?
Yeah,
I can't trust you. You get guns pointed at me. Just because you got camo on doesn't mean you're a government employee.
Right.
You wore a camo jacket today.
I know, right? What does that make me?
A government employee.
Government employee. I want my back taxes.
That's right. Back taxes.
Yeah. So that final sniper shot, that was kind of the pinnacle of the whole situation. A few days later, they sent in a guy named Bo Greitz. It was a politician, ran for president unsuccessfully, but he was
he was well known in that veteran community.
Yeah, he was well known in that area, sympathetic to the cause, and they wheeled him in an armored carrier, and he's just like, "You guys are weird." And he hops out of it, and just walks up to the door and knocks. About that though, that was the first time anybody's really approached them.
Yeah. Other than those marshals,
they were never asked to surrender. They were never given the rights. They were never told why they were there.
Yeah.
It was just like, I mean, can you imagine being alone in the woods with your family?
This is a horror movie, dude.
Yeah,
could you imagine?
You don't know whether
army
could be in the trees, could be,
and they were.
Yeah,
they were.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
They were.
There was also after a couple days before they knew that the wife was dead, they had on the speaker,
Oh yeah,
calling out for her and the kids to come out and eat breakfast.
Yeah, they asked what the mom was having for breakfast. Yeah, right after she was killed, and
they didn't know if they were doing that to taunt them.
They said they didn't know, but Sarah Weaver said that at this time they closed in close enough to the house where they could hear each other. And when they would say things like that, they were like, "You killed my mom, you SOB," stuff like that. Sure. So they knew she was dead.
Yeah.
They knew it.
So it was.
They said they didn't, but they did. They were taunting.
So it was a taunt, and of course, once you're caught,
the sickest of taunts.
Once you're caught,
we didn't know.
Like, oh, we didn't know.
There's so many things at play.
Yeah. That's a great example of probably what there was so many things going on.
There were so many gears moving.
Yeah.
We just lost concentration.
That's a good voice for the government right there.
Yeah, I need $4 trillion to build stuff
to send condoms to Afghanistan.
Everybody needs safe states, man.
That's right.
Okay, back on topic.
Sorry,
got me going.
Doge.
So that's pretty much it. Bo Gratz goes in there, talks some sense into him, gets he took the information back to the media and to the base camp.
And it blew up.
Yeah, and it blew up. Everybody freaked out, started protesting. Tons of people came in to protest the government, rightfully so. A few days later, they Bo finally convinced him, hey, we got to get these wounds treated on you and Kevin, because Kevin
was on his deathbed.
Kevin was blasted pretty bad. He got infected really, really quick, mainly because a bullet passed through another person's brain and into him. So he's got all kinds of badness going on, and the shot was pretty grievous. So they talk him into surrendering. They surrendered peacefully, walks out, gets arrested, and then it's over. That's it. The aftermath of it, they did drop all charges. They had like 10 different charges. Murder was on the table for pretty much all of them. They even tried to drum up charges on Sarah, the little girl that had nothing to do with any of it. She was just there. But before, as that played out, all the charges were dropped. The only charge that stuck was the failure to appear on which was nothing, Burger.
0.
And they give him time, but he pretty much got out immediately because he was held in jail for a long time leading up to the trial.
Yeah.
So he pretty much got time served.
Whenever conviction hit, it was out.
Yeah. So it was like, you've already served your time, you're done. So family gets out. A few years later, they ended up suing the federal government, and they were awarded $3.1 million. So the federal government admitted $3.1 million.
Okay. I thought you said 1.3.
No.
Okay.
I might have, but 3.1.
Which, let's discuss that a minute. $3.1 million in 1992 is a lot of money.
Yep.
Today, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is it enough to just be like, I killed your family. Here's $3.1 million.
Ruining the rest of your life.
No, somebody brought up to me this week. They're like, well, what is enough money? And I'm like, you're right. There is not enough money, but
there is an amount that's not enough.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's it to me. 3.1 million. Like, nah, that's not going to cut it, man.
And that was a settlement. So it tells me that the fact that they were willing to settle doesn't mean that, or meant that they didn't want it to go to court.
Yeah.
Because they knew how bad they were in the wrong in this whole situation.
Yeah. A lot of things happened on the government side as well. Lots of things got passed. People.
Yeah, there was a lot of good that came out of this.
Didn't stick for very long.
We haven't really had
we had one
an event like Ruby Ridge or Waco. That size.
They didn't have time to fix it yet.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Waco was kind of a thing.
Yeah. So
not far after that.
We haven't had one of those.
I understand, but you would think that after Ruby Ridge, how bad that played out.
Mm-hmm.
That what you could have at least internally understood how bad that was. and not replicated it like 6 months later.
But they were probably like, we got another one.
Yeah.
Let's try again.
You're just geared up for the next one. It's like, oh, here it is. Let's do it again.
So guess who was at Waco?
The same people.
The HRT team.
Yep.
Same team, same leaders, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
We'll I think we'll hit that next episode. We'll hit Waco and the atrocities that happened there.
Yeah,
because
we don't have a choice.
Completely ties into this.
Yeah, it's all the same.
Yeah. So
I wonder if they ever went back to those churches they were investigating. I wonder if they just pulled out.
Yeah, you never heard anything else after that.
At that point, those churches probably got to flourish, if I had to guess, because it's like, nah, maybe we shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Maybe that didn't go like we thought it would.
Yeah. They're like, oh, our name is tarnished.
Yeah. Let's take a quick break and then we'll get into the little tidbits on this because we got some thoughts to share.
There's nothing I like more than tidbits.
Yep. ShroudedRealities.com is where you go to find all the stuff that we've got.
All the things.
We got. Oh, let me show.
Look at this.
Look at this. We got. This is what you can get if you go to ShroudedRealities.com.
Hot sale.
It is going on sale right now. Might be a little wrinkled.
Do y'all see that?
Look at that.
How cool that looks.
You see all that is?
It's so real. It looks fake.
It is. On the front. Who needs pockets? You just need a little Shrouded Realities right there.
No pockets.
Here, let me put this. Let me drape this across the table here.
Look at that.
That looks cool. So you can be cool like us and
Look at
have
that.
a cool Shrouded Reality shirt.
This is live, just so y'all know.
Boom.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Boom.
Look at that.
Bam. Bada bump bump.
Bing,
Look at
bang,
that.
boom.
ShroudedRealities.com
bang.
in the store.
Ding dong.
You get it. You get stickers.
Bong.
Guess what happened this week?
I
Got
know what
stickers
happened.
ordered. We got stickers ordered.
We got new ones on the way, guys.
Yep.
With our faces.
Yeah. So by the time this comes out, we'll have them on the website.
Yes.
We'll do a sticker pack. You think we'll do a sticker pack?
Dude, do a sticker pack. Buy bundles.
So you can get 3 different Shrouded Reality stickers. Throw it in with some T-shirts.
We'll throw in some extra of the old ones, probably.
Yeah.
Throw in a couple of extra.
Yeah. It's a sticker pack. It's going to have it.
So, guys, here's what we're doing. This is going on sale this week. I don't know how much for, but it's going to be cheaper than what it is right now.
Yep.
Going on sale. And this is what I need everybody to do. You need to go on there and you need to buy it because these are gone. Once they're gone, they're gone. We're not doing them again.
Limited edition.
Limited run. First run right here. That's what you get.
I got the runs.
He's got the runs.
It's not bad.
We're coming back with new stuff, but we got to get rid of this first.
Yep.
We got to get these out because I don't know if y'all know this. We're not making money here.
Do you want to look like you listen to a metal band, but it's really just a podcast?
It's really just a podcast. That's
Bingo, right there.
Everybody's going to be like, God, what's the name? What is this band? We'll be like, no.
It's the coolest podcast in the world.
It's the coolest podcast.
They've been
the perfect podcast.
Opening my eyes.
We play the Skibbity Toilet.
That's right.
We don't play Skibbity Toilet.
We can.
No, we're not going to play Skibbity Toilet.
Why not? I don't think you can get copyrighted for Skibbity.
It's bad. So I do want to give a little shout out to, I'm not going to give his whole name for obvious reasons, but Big C. I'll call him Big C. He texted me this weekend. He said, man, he's digging some Shrouded Realities. He was on a 3-hour bender.
A 3-hour Shrouded Realities bender?
Yes. And
dude, you're not the same person.
That Red Bull.
Yeah, I said he was nerding out right now. And he said he just don't understand why nobody's talking about this weird stuff that's going on in society and the government.
You know who is?
Who's that?
Us.
Yes, we're talking about it.
We're talking about it. This dude's probably not the same person he was when he started.
No.
If I had to guess,
and he's
3 hours of Shrouded Realities, you're a different person by the time it's over with.
Better or worse, I don't know.
I made zero claims of that, which way that went.
IQ, north or south? Cold. Getting warmer.
And Big C he's a young man, and this stuff that we talk about on the show is not getting brought up in school. So he's not learning this anywhere but the Shrouded Realities podcast. So that's kind of why we started this, is to bring light to dark situations that happen in our government and in the world we live in.
Y'all discussed this Ruby Ridge thing, and you're like, hey, let's hit that. And I had no idea what it was.
Really?
No, I really didn't. I'd heard of the big one. I'd heard of Waco. You know, I'd heard of the Heaven's Gate stuff. But Ruby Ridge, I'd never heard of.
Yeah, it's so unheard of and bad. The government says if you sympathize with these people, you are a white supremacist.
Yeah.
They actually have it as like Ruby Ridge sympathizers aren't good for the government.
Well, I wonder why.
I wonder why.
Because it might cast a bad light on the government.
So you're saying when you poop the bed, you're known as a bed pooper.
A bed pooper. That's right.
Like, wow. Who'd have thought?
I like how we work poop in every episode, no matter what we're talking about.
Yeah, we can.
Put a poop counter on the screen.
We do need to put a poop counter up. You know, you mentioned the white supremacist word again. Yeah. Have y'all noticed that has been a comeback since about 2016? everybody is a white supremacist. If you don't agree with the narrative, you're a white supremacist.
Even people who aren't white.
Yeah, even non-white people are white supremacists. 2016, of course, that's when Donald Trump was elected into office.
That's why it's coming back up again, I think.
But it's a defamation that works, though.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to be called.
No.
I don't want to be called a white supremacist.
That's why we started the show saying
we're not
the facts about it, saying we denounce it.
Yeah, we're just giving the facts as what are portrayed. I mean, I think that there's other facts that exist about this that we'll never know. I think that there are things like who shot who and all of that is probably in there.
U.S. Marshal.
I think that there's got to be a deeper conversation about why they were truly there. There's something more to that. It's not just a sawed-off shotgun, and now you've got 400 FBI agents there.
Yeah.
There's other things at play that exist in this. But the fact that they're calling them white supremacists, that automatically puts a certain stigma on these people. Mm-hmm. And you're not going to sympathize with those people because of that stigma.
Yeah.
You're not going to do it.
I seen some newscast that was happening. Some newscast. Easy for me to say. Nudes. I did say nudes.
I saw some nudes.
Nudes. I didn't see nudes. Your mom. Mom, I didn't watch nudes. It's not my magazine. I'm holding it for a friend.
It's your mom. It's my father's.
Joey, your mom's watching this.
It's Dad's.
I'm holding it for a friend. Don't even know what I say. Oh, news story. That was on the news during the standoff, and like that was the narrative.
That was the narrative.
Yeah, a white supremacist family being held down they were held hostage or something. They was pretty much saying that they were white supremacists, and that's why the government was going after them.
I can tell you why they use it. And what is it now? White nationalist. That's the one that they call us now. Is white nationalists.
White nationalists.
I'll tell you why they use it is because it works.
Yeah.
Nobody. You don't want to be that.
No.
Yeah.
So you're either going to shut up and fall in line, or you're going to have the entire world hate you.
Yeah.
And they know that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's what was at play here completely is straight up government overreach supported by the media, which we're seeing today like crazy in everything. Yeah. Government's getting in places they shouldn't be, messing with stuff they shouldn't be, and then using the media as their defense for all of it.
Yeah.
Did they teach Ruby Ridge in school?
No.
No, absolutely
no way.
not.
No way.
Golly.
Since when is the government taught? Because that's what it is this is a government-funded situation. They're not going to be teaching you about this.
Department of Education, I guess.
Let's talk about the dumb gun laws. We kind of touched on it with a sawed-off shotgun, but why? I feel like those dumb gun laws.
Talking about a bump stock?
Bump stocks and the short barrels, the foregrips on a pistol, which doesn't make any sense.
Dude, it turns it into a long-range rifle if you put a foregrip on it.
What does that got to do with anything?
Dude, if I hold it like this, I could shoot miles.
Yeah. Take a Glock. Yeah. All right. It's a pistol. You can hide it a lot better than you can a sawed-off shotgun, I might add. Still legal. Put a grip on the front of it. You put a stock on it to make it less concealable, which I thought was the point of the short barrel shotgun situation. Yeah. But then it becomes illegal if you shoulder a pistol.
Well, it's government. Once you don't pay the money, it's illegal.
That's another thing about this whole situation. You pay a $200. The shotgun thing was illegal, but even at the time, you can pay a $200 gun tax, they called it, to modify your shotgun, and then it automatically becomes legal.
I've got something that you guys may know. You know that you're automatically paying a 9% tax on any firearm, anything you buy, whether that's a gun, whether that's ammunition, whatever it is. Okay. You're paying a 9% additional tax on top of that because it's a firearm. Mm-hmm. Do you know where that firearm money goes?
Mm-mm. If you say the ATF, I'm going to lose my head.
It does. It does go to the ATF.
Because the Yemen.
But they use that to support families in mass shooting situations. So basically, you're paying for somebody else who committed a mass shooting in that situation.
Interesting.
The law-abiding people are paying for the mass shooting.
For the bad guys.
For the bad guys. Mm. That's pretty messed up to me.
Well, we are also paying money to blow up huts over 3,000 miles away.
Yeah.
So it's I
hope we're about to stop that. I really hope that this is about to be over with.
Yeah. That's basically Ruby Ridges all over the place.
Yeah, I kind of hope this gets hit on in this administration where they just, because these laws, I feel like, are just there for situations like this so that they can drum up charges on anybody.
And they're just like, it depends if you cross this state line and you have this certain modification, then you can go to prison for lifetime.
And it's not about safety. I mean, they tout it as something to keep the other American citizens safe, but it's not, because if that was the case, then why can I give you money to do the thing that you said I couldn't do to keep people safe?
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're saying somebody else's life is $200? That's
so how far do you think gun law should go?
How far do I think they should go?
Yeah, we're talking our weapons.
I'll answer this. Hold on. Let me read you the Second Amendment.
Oh, there you go.
The Second Amendment to the United States Constitution states, a well-regulated militia, being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed.
A militia, huh?
Mm-hmm. What were we when we were fighting against
We were
Britain?
a militia.
We were a militia.
We all seen the paper.
So RPGs? Are we talking hand grenades?
Yeah. You have shall
you're
not.
You're not a militia. You're not a militia if you don't have that kind of stuff.
I mean, just think of.
And we're giving that stuff to civilians in Afghanistan.
But let's say we let old art grad over here going to Yale, goes a little crazy, a little he going on. She gets a RPG.
It gets an RPG.
Okay.
Blows up a church.
Here's where I draw the line. If you're a felon, no.
Okay. Felon of like a violent crime or just
violent crime.
Tax fraud?
Of a violent crime.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
After that, shall not be infringed.
Gotcha. Okay.
There were.
What about mental problems?
How do you define that?
I know.
Are we all mental?
Who gets to?
We got three guys with mental problems right here.
Yeah. Who gets to pick and choose?
If you have a friend in your head, probably not.
Yeah, I mean, who gets to pick and choose?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
What mental illness is okay and which one's not? Who gets to pick that?
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope anywhere you go.
It is.
But I'm going to err on the side of freedom in this situation and go, you know what?
What was Ben Franklin's quote?
Safety and liberty. You can't have both, basically. You can have safety or you can have liberty, and the one that chooses safety is dumb. Yeah. That's how I think that was a quote there.
That's exactly how he said it.
Yeah. So, I mean, to me, shall not be infringed is pretty clear. Mm-hmm. There's letters where people carrying goods across the sea and all this kind of stuff from Britain to here, they wrote a letter to, I can't remember the president. Anyway, they were asking, hey, can we buy cannons? He's like, it says right there, shall not be infringed. You can do whatever you want, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that to me is pretty plain of like, it's in the Constitution. It is a right. Mm-hmm. A right is not something given to you by the government. You have a right to defend yourself, period.
No matter what.
Mm. Where do rights come from?
And I think it's important that it's talked about a well-regulated militia.
Yes.
It's not talking about the individual.
No.
The individual's included in that.
Yes.
But the militia is there to keep stuff like this from the Weavers getting blown up by their own government from happening.
Now, if 400 people show up to my house, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, we can go start guns blazing.
Yeah.
You get turned into Swiss cheese.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they did without doing that.
Yeah.
They turned into Swiss cheese.
Yes.
But if you have a well-regulated militia, and I can call people and be like, dude, I've got the freaking FBI around me.
My first question, like, what the hell did you do?
Yeah, that's going to be my first question. Sure. But in the government...
I used a bandsaw against a piece of metal. That's what I did.
No!
Did you pay the tax?
Did you cut it under the? Yeah. Did you go a quarter inch under? Didn't you?
Just tack weld it back on to the legal length. I'm like, we're good.
You did that without the gun stamp?
Did you?
How dare you?
Did you use a ruler? No.
I used one from Temu. It's not right.
How do you know it was 21 inches?
Yes.
Let your wife look at it. She'll think it's
bigger.
There's
so many of these
16
laws.
inches.
What?
16 inches for a short-barreled rifle.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Regardless, but the laws that we have in the state of Alabama are not the same laws. Now, granted, in our surrounding area, they're all pretty much the same. I can travel wherever I want to in my surrounding area and be fine.
Shotgun's 18 inches, by the way. Must be 18? Longer than 18 inches.
Okay. Well, he went 17, so it's over.
Dang it.
17 3/4.
17 3/4, and that's it.
Yep.
That's where it really becomes a dangerous weapon, is at 17 3/4. But if I was to go to Chicago, let's say, with a pistol, I can go to jail like immediately and spend hard time there for just having that pistol.
California's tough too.
California, surrounding areas in that. To get a conceal is almost unheard of. You have to have other credentials to even
training and all kinds of stuff.
Training, and you got to have a card from your governor that you met for dinner. Like that's the only way you can get it.
You slide them. You slide them a little.
Yeah, and that's the only way you can get it at all.
Yeah, I was traveling in Buffalo, New York, a few years ago, and I was with a group of firefighters, volunteer firefighters, and we came across another firefighter. And we was sharing stories, and he told us about how they was like really dangerous in some neighborhoods for them to go into to fight fire. And we do it. It's kind of legal in our state, and we asked, hey, can y'all not carry? Like, can you not protect yourself? And he looked at us like we were bonkers for
like
even
like you had
that.
3 heads.
Yeah, and he was like, no, we can't carry. Like, look, duh, you can't carry. And I'm like,
what do you mean?
dude, you
gonna shoot him with water?
You need to move.
It is crazy.
Self-defense water cannon.
It is crazy that in the United States that is the way that people think in certain places. Because here, dude, if you see people without guns, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah. Like, what's wrong with you?
Why do you not have that?
We're really blessed to live where we do.
You don't see, I'm not saying you don't see gun violence. I mean, that happens everywhere.
Yeah.
But you don't see it in mass around here like you see it in other areas because everybody knows that guy might have a gun. So you're less likely to pull a gun on somebody if you are the one, if you're like, that guy might, well, that dude probably does, and you're not going to do it.
No.
It's well-regulated militia at that point.
Yep.
How do you stop gun violence? With a gun. That's how you do it.
Yep.
We're getting off topic.
Yep.
Yeah.
Any thoughts that you took away from the Ruby Ridge story?
Yeah.
In retrospect, it's been 40 years ish.
Yeah, it's been a long time. There was, like I said, at the beginning,
been 40 years.
Yeah,
32. 32. I was born that year.
Okay.
Yeah,
y'all chill out.
There.
I ain't 40. Y'all chill out.
I'm not 43 like this guy over here.
33 coming up in August. The story.
That is.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I think that
chill out.
There were multiple people at fault. The leadership should have seen the fault really early and just stopped it and not let it escalate the way it did. But the Daddy Weaver, he was at fault also. If he's got his excuses and but does
the punishment reflect the crime?
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Should he have cut a shotgun down? No. Does that deserve your entire family being murdered in front of you?
Yeah.
Nope.
And I'm wondering too if there was a point in this if he would have walked out hands on his head. And they did have surveillance pictures of him and the family outside the yard. If he would have said,
I wouldn't have.
If he would have walked out hands on his head, I'm surrendering, all this stops.
I don't think I could have, especially after
the boy got shot.
After my son got killed.
Yeah.
Nah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's war.
But
then at that point, that's war.
Yeah.
That's there is no more pride at that point. It's like, no, we're not doing it. And them measuring, the government trying to take their measurement and say, okay, don't watch what I do next.
Yeah.
That doesn't work. That's complete and total overreach.
Yeah. Do you think we're getting close to how they use these agencies against civilians in a very, very proud and like brutal manner? Do you think we're getting close to like airstrikes on U.S. soil? It's illegal, but
today?
Who's to say?
Are you saying
20
today?
years from now?
No, I think
because like there's you don't have to worry about agents getting killed in the line of fire.
So I don't think we're there. And I didn't really anticipate to go to this place with this conversation, but with the developments of AI and what the talks of what they're going to do with that, you don't have to have airstrikes because they're talking Minority Report crap now of we're gonna stop a crime before it starts. So, one, that's complete overreach, period. But two, if they're willing to do this, they're willing to do that just as easily.
Yeah, and it flip flops depends on the administration. You know,
yeah.
So I feel safer now than I did a year ago.
Yeah, today I definitely did.
Remember when we were doing this podcast,
Dude.
you know, prepping for it, we were like, man, we got to stay away from this. We got to be careful. We're not giving last names, which still don't, but we were worried. We were worried what the government would do to us.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had conversations of like, what if this happens? And
that's a sad
I'm not
state.
that worried about it today. And you know what? Honestly, if they were to shut me down, it just is what it is. I don't think that they're going to come kill me over it today.
There was a point where we thought,
knock on wood. Yeah, I know there's wood in it somewhere.
There was a point.
Chill out.
There was a point where we were seriously a little worried.
Yeah.
I've had multiple people tell me,
y'all
we're
better
gonna
be
get you.
careful.
Yeah, you're gonna get yourself killed.
Yep, y'all better chill out.
Straight up, you're gonna get yourself killed.
Nah, we're not gonna have that problem until we did the Hillary Clinton kill list.
That was a good one.
HRC or HRT, you gonna die.
Yes, so stick around for this installment number 2.
Little wacko
Texas. And surprisingly, a lot of people, there's people that still don't know about what happened there.
We brought that up this week to somebody, and they're like, what is that?
What is that?
That blew my mind. I'm like, what are you talking about?
So
this dude's older than I am. He's like, what is Waco?
Hey, that's why we're doing what we're doing.
It is. Yeah.
Yep.
For real.
Get these little stories out that not everybody's going to know about.
Because they don't teach it.
We gotta show off the government's poo-poo.
The poo-poo.
We gotta bring the poo-poo out sometime.
Where's the counter at? We gotta get it up.
Bing, 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 bing.
Poop counter. I'm telling you, we gotta get it up.
Yep. So stick around for next week. Appreciate you listening. Hit shroudedrealities.com. Shirts on sale. New stickers coming up. For Steven, Connor, Joey, and Ruby, the podcast dog. Thanks for listening.
See ya.